Hello everyone. I would like to thank the organizers of this side event to the Human Rights Council session in Geneva and also thank them for organizing this side event on an important issue. I can't be there in person, but I hope some key messages from this video will inform the discussion. In my short message, I would like to focus on two aspects. First, I want to highlight the development deficits that I see in the current model of economic development. And secondly, I wish to propose an alternative in my role as the UN Special Rapporteur on the right to development. There are many deficits in the current economic model, but I would like to focus on three aspects of it. First of all, the current development model is leaving too many people behind. In the recent report on the SDGs progress, it is very clear that we are only meeting around 15 to 16% of the SDG goals, it seems, at this point of time. The poverty is not being reduced enough, and more importantly, the inequalities are rising. So even if some people are getting rich, the benefits of the economic growth are not shared equitably. The second challenge I see is that the current economic model is not operating within the planetary boundaries. Right to clean, healthy and sustainable environment is equally important as the right to development. And of course, we only have one planet Earth. So it is critical that the current economic development model operates within planetary boundaries, and that is not happening, and that's why loss of biodiversity, environmental pollution and climate change are getting worse. The third difficulty I see is that there is not enough or meaningful participation of people in development policies, programs and projects. And that means that there are social conflicts and disagreements which are quite significant, and often human rights defenders and civil society organizations who are protesting against development projects, they are suffering. So in view of these development deficits, we should look for a new model of economic development. In my role as the Special Rapporteur, I have articulated that the world should embrace a new model of development, and I'm calling it planet-centered participatory model of development. There are two key elements of this model. It is planet-centered. It's not merely people-centered. So we have to look at the plant and biodiversity as well as in mind. If we leave behind plants and animals, human beings cannot survive. So it has to be very critical that we have to move towards a more ecosystem approach of development. But this model of development also requires international cooperation, especially on the part of the developed countries and the companies that have contributed to the negative consequences in the world so far. So if you would like everyone in the world to move towards a planet-centered approach of development, then there are critical elements of it. We need to transfer green technologies. We also need to ensure that the financing for development is available. And that is where the global north has to play a key leadership role. The second element is it has to be participatory. Bottom-up approaches are very, very critical. We should not develop development projects without active, free and meaningful participation of individuals and communities on the ground in each and every country. And that will also require participation in international institutions. So participation has many aspects of it. And one aspect is that the international financial institutions, whether it is World Bank or IMF, they have to reform. Because developing states need to have their voices, and if they do not have their voices adequately, these institutions are not fit for the purpose going forward. So moving towards a new planet-centered participatory model of development will require all of us coming together and make fundamental changes to how we have been growing over decades and centuries. Thank you very much for this opportunity.